Hello and welcome to this special edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Jacob Clore. Today we have some guests with us to talk about the culture of Ut Prosim at Virginia Tech and how it shapes us as a community. For those who may not know, Ut Prosim is the motto of the school and means that I may serve in Latin. Because of this, many students come to Tech ready to help their community and make a difference. Let's meet some of those students. Our guests are involved in events and organizations you may recognize. We have Rahul Kulharni, co-director of the big event. We have Katie May from the 3.2 Run of Remembrance. We have Samantha Rich, assistant director of Relay for Life, and Theo Pachowski, service chair for Renovation Alliance and member of Alpha Phi Omega, a national service fraternity. So let's hear from each of you about these unique events and their place in the Hokie community. Let's start with Samantha. Can you give us a brief introduction to Relay and what it means for the Virginia Tech community?
Sure. Relay for Life at Virginia Tech is the largest collegiate Relay for Life event in the world, which we have been for the past 7 years. That means we raise $600,000 for the fight against cancer, and we also we run all night. We never stop walking for cancer survivors and for people we've lost because cancer never stops.
And Rahul, what is the big event and what does it look like on the day it happens?
Well, the big event is the second largest student-run community service effort in the country. On the day of, we have 9,200 students come out, give up their early mornings on a Saturday, come out to the drill field, pick up tools, and we'll go out to different community members and complete different service projects for them. It's just a great way for them to say thank you for making Blacksburg such a great place to live 8 months out of the year.
That sounds fantastic. Katie, can you tell us about the 3.2 Run of Remembrance?
Absolutely. So the 3.2 Run of Remembrance started as a memorial run to commemorate the people we lost in the tragedy in 2007. And it's since grown into a run to kind of give thanks for how far we've come as a community and how strong we've been able to be for the last couple of years.
Sounds like a really great event. And Theo, can you talk to us a little bit about the Renovation Alliance and Alpha Phi Omega?
Sure. So it's a 100-person strong co-ed service fraternity, and maybe about 5 times a semester, myself and a co-chair, Jacob Long, organize and partner with Renovation Alliance in Roanoke to help low-income families with pretty simple home improvement projects like roofing, gutters, wheelchair ramps around Southwest and Southeast Roanoke. And we usually get about 10 to 15 brothers each time, drive out there Saturdays, sometimes also Sunday mornings, and meet the homeowner and try to help them physically, spiritually, and emotionally in improving their home.
That sounds like a really great opportunity for service. Well, coming up on this special edition of the Newsfeed, we'll take a look at service opportunities and sororities Chi Delta Alpha's Mr. and Mrs. Ut Prosim pageant. And we'll talk to our guest about the work that goes into bringing these events to life.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream, that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to this Ut Prosim edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Jacob Clore, and I'm here with a handful of Hokies invested in service work here at Virginia Tech. We have Rahul Kulkarni from the big event. We have Katie May from the 3.2 for 32 Run of Remembrance. We have Samantha Rich from Relay for Life and Theo Pachowski from Renovation Alliance and APO. Coming up, we're going to talk about the kind of planning that goes into service projects and campus-wide events like these. But first, let's take a look at another group of Hokies who competed in the Mr. and Mrs. Ut Prosim pageant. On March 28th, Virginia Tech's all-female service sorority, Chi Delta Alpha, hosted the Mr. and Mrs. Ut Prosim pageant to raise money for the Giving Tree Food Pantry of Montgomery County. The pageant recognized the accomplishments of a pool of men and women from different organizations as they competed for the title of Mr. and Mrs. Ut Prosim. The candidates answered a series of questions about Ut Prosim and showed off their skills and talents during a talent portion. After a round of judges voting, Christine Pauley of Active Minds at Virginia Tech and Eddie Ketta of Phi Sigma Kappa won the titles of Miss and Mr. Ut Prosim respectively. Chi Delta Alpha hopes to make the event an annual event. That event looks like it took some time to put together, with many hands and minds working to make the event a success. However, it may be nothing in comparison to the feats ahead of our guest here today. So let's talk about the work that goes into them before the fact. Rahul, the big event, take us through the planning process.
So the planning process for the big event is a really large commitment. We always make the joke that it's 365 days of the year. You know, the second that our big event ends, we start a counter on our website counting down to the next big event, because it really does take that much planning. We have 18 executive members on our committee and 150 other committee members from the student body that help us put on the event each and every year. We have people that work with projects and going out into the community and getting projects for students to complete. We have a student outreach committee that goes out to the students of Virginia Tech and gets them to sign up. We have people who are in charge of logistics and all the planning and tools that go into the event on the day of. And then we have myself, my co-director, and an assistant director who are kind of there to just oversee the whole event and make sure that we facilitate it to the best of our ability and make sure we say thank you to just as many community members as we can.
Now, Samantha, Relay for Life is a multifaceted event, and it goes through many steps to make sure that the event runs smoothly. Can you tell us how all of those pieces come together?
Sure. Actually, just like the big event, we start right after Relay ends. We have to pick our new director literally 3 days after the event. So going through that process is really kind of daunting, because when the event is over, last year the event was over and I had a really big part of it, and then I had to write a speech to get another role for the next year. So we found out a week after, and we've been planning since April of last year for this event. There's so many different parts. We have to feed like 5,000 to 10,000 people. So getting the food for that, getting bathrooms, picking out campsites, and securing entertainment. We started a Taylor Swift to Tech movement at the beginning of the year, so hopefully she'll come. We don't know, but we'll see. We're waiting on that, and maybe other special guests will come since our planning started so early.
Mm-hmm. So the 3.2 for 32 Remembrance Run is actually on April 16th this year. What work has gone into making that run smoothly?
Well, there's a lot of logistics that go into any type of run. So for example, we have to make sure that there are safety marshals along the route. We have to work with VTPD to shut down the roads for the morning of the event. Any sort of logistical stuff like that, like registration, that's pretty typical for any sort of run or race. But what's unique to the 3.2 Run in Remembrance is that we work with organizations and parts of the university all across campus. So for example, we work with the Alumni Association, who has a woman who's been reaching out to the families of those affected since the day of the tragedy. And we also work with outreach committees within the university in order to make this a really inclusive event, make it a healing event, and make it a little bit more special than just a typical race.
What is it like to plan events with APO? Are there similar processes like these three mentioned, or is there something different as well?
Sure. So what's beautiful about these service projects is you can take thousands of people, and although they're not skilled, they can all come together for the same cause and do something amazing. One of the little more difficult things for construction is you need skilled workers normally to volunteer. So it's difficult matching up, I guess, service projects that require skill, that normally require contractors, with a volunteer base that perhaps isn't normally skilled. But one thing that myself and the co-chair have done to get people more amped up to come out to these projects, even though they don't have the skills, is to stand up in front of the organization and kind of pretend like we're using power tools and get them amped up and make some noises so they're more excited to come out to the service projects. And we also sometimes tell a story of the homeowner we're going to meet, just because we have met some amazing people in Roanoke who are very thankful for the help that we're doing, who definitely need the help, and where we can see that we're making an impact.
So what about Alpha Phi Omega? Can you give us just a brief introduction of how they plan these events, like how maybe what are some specific events to your organization?
Sure. So the reason why I joined APO is because the opportunity. Other organizations, they really delve forward and make a huge impact in one area. We have a lot of opportunities that brush the surface. So on any week, on any given day, you can have like 5 different service events that you can sign up for. We work with adult day services over at the College of Psychology, where we work with the elderly to keep their, minds vigorated and do puzzles and arts and crafts with them. We work a lot with Special Olympics, special running, swimming, basketball, volleyball. Both seasons, you got all these different sports. Among others.
Coming up on this edition of the Newsfeed, we'll hit the streets to talk to students about the values of Ut Prosim. Also, we'll ask our guests about what their events mean for Ut Prosim and what Ut Prosim means to them.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Newsfeed. We've been talking to students who serve, so now let's talk about why. Ut Prosim is the school's motto and how some students take it a step further and adopt it as a lifestyle. So let's talk to Sam first about Ut Prosim in terms of the projects that you engage in. So what does Ut Prosim mean for Relay?
So Ut Prosim for Relay is a way for us to give back, thank the survivors for not giving up their fight, remember the ones that we've lost, and keep fighting for those who just got diagnosed. We like to commemorate them with the people we've lost through a remembrance ceremony, and I think that really helps not even just the people that are being remembered, but their family members. It helps them. It's like us giving back to them and letting them have a special time to commemorate them in a silent lap. That's probably my favorite part of it. And fundraising our money, we're giving back through cancer research. That's the direct way that Relay epitomizes Ut Prosim.
So Theo, can you talk to me really quickly about APO is a service organization, so how do you guys embody Ut Prosim?
Sure. So each semester we have a 45-hour commitment, and very often brothers will go way above this and do more hours than that because people don't join APO for the hours. People join because they're looking for that opportunity, like I mentioned before, for different shares of service so they can kind of find which direction they want to go to. They have the passion, but they're not sure which direction to go to. So that's kind of the reason why I love APO so much, is because it's very diverse in personalities and in people going in different directions, but similar to these other organizations, a common passion for service brings everyone together.
Mm-hmm. Rahul, can you tell me more about how Ut Prosim and the big event collaborate together?
Yes, so Ut Prosim, that MA Serve, we literally have over 9,000 students serving the community. From personal experience, the reason I love the big event so much and why I believe it just embodies Ut Prosim to the fullest is the fact that I'm from out of state. I came down here, didn't really have any friends at Virginia Tech, but the second I stepped on campus, I felt right at home. There's such a sense of community here, so any chance that we get to say thank you to that community, I believe is very important, and I believe that's why we really embody Ut Prosim to the fullest.
Mm-hmm. And to Katie, the same question, how does the 3.2 Run of Remembrance collaborate with Ut Prosim?
Just like Rahul said, I think it's all about the community. It's a way for us to thank those who have held strong for the last couple of years and to honor those who we've lost and who will lose in the future, and just really bring us together and remind us that our community is stronger than any one event or any one defining attribute. We have so much more to offer than that.
So I would like to open the floor up to all of you all. How do you think that the Virginia Tech community embraces Ut Prosim as a whole, and how do you think it affects the community? Anyone first?
I think big event is the best example for that.
I mean, it's not just the big event. I think when you look at the student body as a whole and you see their willingness to, participate in something like the big event, the fact that we do have the biggest Relay for Life out of all colleges, that we have service organizations like APO, that the 3.2 is such a great remembrance. It's the fact that all those organizations and all those events happen at Virginia Tech. It's not just one thing. We have a full resume when it comes to service, and students really buy into that the second they step on campus. Our orientation leaders do such a great job of letting all the new students know exactly, what the big events on campus are, no pun intended, what the different service opportunities are, and people really take that in stride. And the first day they're on campus, they're thinking about that till their last, and that's why it's so special at Virginia Tech.
Would somebody else like to tackle that question?
I think just that was said so beautifully, and I totally agree. But I think also having President Sands and Coach Beamer and big people on campus, like sports organizations and stuff, seeing them come out to events like this also really inspires people, because I look up to President Sands so much. Him and his wife are such an inspiration for me, and for them to come out to our events when they have such a busy schedule already, that says a lot about them and how much the school motto means to them. And I think just when you step on campus, you just feel like that sense of community, and you want to give back to Blacksburg and the surrounding area because they created that for us.
Let's take a look at some other Hokies talking about the values of Ut Prosim in their everyday lives as well.
I'm here in Squire Student Centers talking with some Virginia Tech students about Ut Prosim and some of the opportunities that they have to get involved around campus.
So I work with the Collegiate Times, and over the next few weeks we all get together and we're creating a group for big event. So I think Ut Prosim is really just everyone coming together to participate, not just as a school but as a community, especially with the CT. We're like one big family, and it's nice for our family to go out and help Virginia Tech in more ways than one.
Ut Prosim is really, that I may serve. It means that you can, serve your fellow man in your community, and you really don't need, you don't need a university to help you serve somebody else. But I think the school does supply the student body with many different opportunities to improve the lifestyle in their community.
I like the opportunity to give back to the community, and there's a ton of opportunities to get involved.
Ut Prosim, I really think it's just because this community, we stand together, we're never afraid to help each other. Like, I see people all the time just come out and they're willing to, so someone's carrying a lot of heavy boxes, someone else will just randomly, don't know them, just be like, oh yeah, can I help you out? And it's no problem at all. I think also stuff like the big event and relay are really key to Ut Prosim. It really shows that this school's community is willing to come out and help each other out and help the local community out, which I think is so cool about the big event. That's why I'm doing it. It's because you have this big college, you still have the town, and people a lot of times will forget about the town, but really that's the big part. And I think the big event is just a nice way for us to come together and say thank you.
For me, I've done just big event and relay. I've done all these past 4 years that I've been here. This year, obviously, again, I'll do big event and relay for life. I've only done relay. This is maybe my second time doing relay ever. Big events that I've done these past years. I've got a lot out of it.
Ut Prosim to us means, or quite literally is translated, that I may serve in Latin, and we take that literally to heart in the Corps of Cadets. Everything we do, we volunteer for. For example, the big event around campus, get active in our community, and just represent the Hokie Nation in Blacksburg.
Especially as freshmen, we try to, as a group, our training company tries to volunteer to do things together. I know we're a Relay for Life team, and we've definitely been trying to actively fundraise for that. And individually, we also do a lot of things, such as the blood drive. We participate in shifts for volunteering for that, things like that.
Service is like really important. As I see around campus, that there's no shortage of that around here. Like it's also there's big things like volunteering for like blood drive and big event, and there's also like the really small things like someone needs help with homework. So like I've always can go to someone that'll be honored to help me, or someone comes to me, I'll be honored to help them. It's just like the little small things that help.
Overall, it seems like Virginia Tech students really take pride in the motto Ut Prosim and have taken advantage of all the service opportunities available. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Morgan Conklin.
Now that we've seen how Hokies respond to Ut Prosim, let's see what our guests have to say about the matter. What does Ut Prosim mean to you, Katie, individually?
For me, I think it really depends on the moment that you're in. I think, whether it's holding the door open or doing, a greater action like participating in Relay for Life or the big event or the 3.2. I think as long as you are going out of your way to make sure that someone else has an improvement to whatever situation that they're in, I think that's Ut Prosim.
Same question for you, Sam. How do you view Ut Prosim in your individual life?
I think for me, it's just giving back in any way that I can. So similar to that, it's just making decisions based on how I can benefit others and not always just myself. And that's the biggest point of Ut Prosim, is serving your friends and your family.
Would you care to elaborate on that a little?
So instead of making dinner for just myself, I'll ask my roommate if he wants something too. So that's just like a little way that I do it, or sending a card to my mom just because that's making sure she knows that I appreciate her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely try to keep in contact with my mom as well. So Rahul, can you elaborate on that question as well?
Yeah, I think they said it perfectly. It's about all the small things that you do. Even the littlest thing, like holding a door open for someone or smiling at someone when you walk past them on campus, can make such a big difference in their everyday lives. You have no idea what struggles people are going through, what they're combating in their everyday life, and just being able to always have a smile on your face, always be enthusiastic, and always be thankful for the people around you. I think that just rubs off on everyone else around you, and it kind of brightens their day. And so I'm here to serve, the whole entire community.
Thank you. And Theo, what about you?
Ut Prosim probably means it's a lifelong commitment. I've seen a lot of really cool Ut Prosim tattoos on some people on campus, and I'm thinking about getting one. But it's this service community of Virginia Tech has inspired me to integrate service into my life. I'm looking to join the Peace Corps, and I'm about to graduate. It's slightly terrifying, but the more people I talk to, the more Hokies are integrating service into their life, joining the Peace Corps, joining Teacher America, going about and just trying to help people. That seems like a common priority to a lot of the people I talk to, and it's just awesome because this community of service inspires people to ingrain it into their life, and I have the Ut Prosim to thank for that.
Mm-hmm. That will wrap up this special edition of the Newsfeed. A big thank you to all of our guests who are joining us today. We really appreciate you taking your time. If you have a story idea or even a talk show idea for the Newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com. And as always, you can connect with the Newsfeed on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'm Jacob Clore.